threatened, but there is no way of stopping the main problem.
Email in this morning from Daniel. I'm a geologist living in Aldborough and can safely say with confidence that the coastal defences at Mappleton have had a direct effect in the erosion at Aldborough. Is that a fair comment?
Well, certainly in areas like this, work on the coastline does have effects elsewhere, so it's fair to say I can't comment on that particular case. But this is certainly a typical kind of reaction.
You are the bringer of doom and gloom tonight.
I'm sorry to be so.
OK, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
And the time is 25 minutes to 7. On to other news now. And a very good evening to you. Thank you for joining us and welcome to tonight's programme. Coming up this evening, 300 jobs are being cut at hospitals in Hull and East Yorkshire. It's the all too familiar tale now of how the money men faced with big debts are having to cut back. We investigate what it means for patients tonight on the programme. Now, most of us have got one, but the big question is where you put it. Well, wheelie bin owners in Hull could be fined if they put theirs in the wrong place at the wrong time. The council claims it's to stop vandalism like this. We'll be investigating that one on the programme tonight. Also, we've been out with our cameras snooping in your garage. Stay right there to find out what we found. And here's Hull-born Barry Rutter ahead of a Shakespeare recruitment day in Lincoln tomorrow. The actor performs Shakespeare only in a Yorkshire accent. I'll be talking to him a little bit later on. And here's the man who's been barred from many places. Save an East Riding village from the threat of rising sea levels. The Environment Agency says it'll only consider flood defences to protect Kilnsea for the next 30 years. And that's only if villagers help with the funding. In a moment, I shall be talking to the Beverley and Holden SMP Graham Stewart. But first, Philip Norton has this.
It's been a burning issue for months, and today residents from one of East Yorkshire's most remote villages voiced concerns over flood defence plans. During a 2-hour meeting, 5 proposals put forward by the Environment Agency to residents of Kilnsea were discussed, and, for the first time, confirmation that public money will be made available to help protect their village from the sea.
Well, I can't say how much might be available for this particular project, but the committee agreed yesterday that money would be found. There's a subcommittee needs to meet within the next couple of weeks to make some decisions on that.
Those present included representatives from the RNLI and associated British ports. Lifeboat crews, their families and the pilots at Spurn Point face being cut off if nothing is done to help. But today's news is being seen as a glimmer of hope, and residents know they will have a big part to play if their village is to stay on the map.
People are beginning to understand the issues. 4 or 5 months ago it all came as a big shock and we knew nothing about it. Now we do, we're learning, so we're going in the right direction still, I think. So I'm sure that the people who live in the immediate area are going to be here for another few more years yet.
Well, I'm joined on this one by the Beverley and Holden SMP Graham Stewart. Graham, good evening to you. I mean, we can't defend every bit of coastline, can we? I mean, we can't beat Mother Nature. Surely now it's time for families to retreat, isn't it?
You're absolutely right. We can't avoid. We can't, like King Canute, we can't make the seas go back. What we can do is provide long-term planning frameworks in which communities and people can plan for their futures. That hasn't happened in the past, and today's meeting was designed to bring all the agencies together, and we had a tremendous response. I think the way that the Environment Agency has responded has been very positive. The way the community locally has responded has been simply fantastic. Huge amounts of work put in, and the truth is, if what we're looking at is options that will give this community a future, not forever, but a future, and allow people to plan for their future, and that is the minimum in order to be fair. Now,
the key words there are not forever. I mean, if you put defences in now, in another 5, 10, 15 years' time, you're going to need to do the whole thing again, and it's going to cost even more. Isn't it time to pack up now and just move inland?
No, it isn't. We can put in place measures that will protect this area for at least 30 years, I believe. And we have important assets here, not just the people, who are, I think, the most important. We also have ABP, we have the RNLI, we have these vital functions supporting the busiest waterway in the United Kingdom. And are we really saying we don't have the resources in the 4th richest country in the world to support those kind of key assets and to support the people who live here? And the answer is we do, we should, and I feel positive that we're going to get the right answer here to look after people.
Those are very strong words. Should that money come from the government then? It shouldn't come, should it, from the people who live locally?
the options are still open on that. The government has got to come forward and do its fair share. And this is a very important area. It's an important waterway. It's a key strategic asset, and the government should certainly bear most of the burden.
Yeah.
I hope if there's a gap that we can find that, we can make up that money without putting too much on local people.
Very good to talk to you, Graham. Thank you very much indeed.
And you, Peter.